Hey, welcome in. I'm Rita, and this is the story I'm telling myself. If you've ever felt like you're standing in your own way, you are not alone. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everyone. It is another episode of the Story I'm Telling Myself podcast. And this is a really good one. My good friend, and your friend too, you may not know this, but Anne is the whole reason we have a show because she signed on last year to help me launch the show, did a phenomenal job supporting the Story I'm Telling Myself podcast. And so, Anne, welcome. We are so glad to have you with us today from the behind the scenes to front and center to tell your story. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. And it feels different being on this side of the camera, but I think I'm ready and I just want to share the gems. And I'm so glad that the Story I'm Telling Myself podcast has gone. This is episode 64. And I'm just also so proud of you for, pushing it up to where it is right now.
Oh, well, thank you very much. If you are here with us live for this episode, thank you. We love having you with us in the comments. We love learning your insights, having your questions, and just watching you guys engage with one another. So if you are here live, please welcome Anne to the show and make sure that you introduce yourselves and get started. We love to see those comments rolling in. And I'm going to pop in Anne's contact information. And Anne, I'm going to let you introduce yourself to everyone.
All right.
Go ahead, Anne. Tell everyone who you are.
All right. So my name is Anne Njoroge. I am based in Nairobi, Kenya, and how I met Rita is just so phenomenal. It was just on my path of finding what I love and what I enjoy doing, and setting up. The story I'm telling myself is like one of my achievements, honestly. Yeah, so I am a podcast and social media manager who transitioned from being an accountant over a span of like 10 years, I would say. And I believe the story that I'm here to tell you, or the story that I want to put out there, is that um, you shouldn't let fear hold you back from whatever it is that you want to do career wise. And if that means transitioning from the accounts office to marketing and doing all this fun digital stuff, then do it because no one else is holding you back.
I love that. I love that. And we're going to get into that. So, Anne would like for you to reach out to her on LinkedIn. So, Muriel is here and Sharon is here, and we will put this in the show notes as well. But if you're out on LinkedIn, find Anne on LinkedIn. Here is her LinkedIn information for you. And she would love to connect and continue this conversation. And Anne, I think the timing of this is perfect because unfortunately, we continue to see the numbers mount of people who are losing their jobs and finding themselves back out in the marketplace. And for many people, that means that they have this opportunity to make a different bet on themselves. And so that is the title of our episode. Are you betting on you? And you're here to share your story about how you came to the place of truly trusting in and betting on yourself. But walk us in, start us out, because you started out as an accountant. It is a dearly beloved accountant, I'm sure. My husband was an accountant in his career. But talk to us about your early days and what brought you to your accounting background.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I studied in university. And it was just like the next logical thing to do, get an accounting job or a job in finance. And I did that, and it was nice. But I always knew I want to be an entrepreneur. And my reason of doing accounts finance is for me to be able to run my business, because if you can do the numbers, if you can understand them, then I mean, why will your business fail? So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, but in the end, I want to be in business. I don't know what kind of business that would have been, but I was just so adamant on it that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So after graduating, I got a couple of jobs, and that was mainly, well, I started a small business, but I realized I don't have the skills, or I just don't know a lot of things. So it's like, why not get a corporate job, learn how even an office is run, how to do stuff, how to, I feel like there are a lot of moving parts in any successful company. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go there, learn whatever it is that I can as quick as I can, and then get out and start my business. Uh, so I
And
did
I'm
that.
just going to pause here and say, because we have a lot of new graduates out on the
Yes.
job scene as well right now. And I think this is a very typical path. I think it is one that a
Mhm.
lot of parents coach their kids toward. Go find an established business, go learn
Mhm.
some things about how the world of business works, and earn a steady
Mhm.
income. Because let's be
Yes.
honest, when you own a business, that steady income is not necessarily guaranteed. And it often takes a lot of work and some investment.
Mhm.
And when you're fresh out of college, many times you don't have any money to invest. And the
Yeah.
idea of going out and taking out a big loan and having that sit over top of you on top of the debt you already have from school is too much. So this is a pretty standard path that most people
Yeah.
take. It's kind of a safe, it's a good thing. And as you're saying, you can be very intentional and you can learn some very important things. But one of the things you
Mhm.
learned is that you didn't really fall in love with accounting.
No, no. And to be honest, it was fun learning until I realized that I had reached like my growth period, like that I had learned whatever it is that I needed to learn. So I tried stepping out to start a business, but then again, the same challenge, funds, capital, um, trying to get into the right business. So it didn't happen, honestly. So I had to go back into corporate. But now this time, it's like I was just looking at the next available opportunity for me to survive. And it went on for a while. So I would get a job, I was good at it. Um, Grew enough, left, looked for another opportunity. But one thing, I'm just lucky. I never lacked opportunities until when I was like 27. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should bet on myself and now start this business that I've been thinking about for such a long time. And I did. So I joined a family business, which was nice and awesome. But so between this period where I'm in between jobs, I got curious about social media. So I was just so really interested and fascinating on how it works and the concept of you know selling stuff online, and you don't have like to have a physical shop, or you just need a phone and the mind to create like nice marketing content and sell stuff. So I used to do that for my friends on the side. And then in between there, I just started a YouTube channel where I just vlog about my life, travel. But now when I was in that, I realized that I could actually change my career. And that's when, because already accounting, like it's nice, honestly, it's a nice career if you love it and if you want to follow through with it. But for me, and this is also based on my personality type, um, accounting is just not for me. So I started experimenting with marketing, and marketing just felt right. And this is because it's not as repetitive, it's not very predictable. I need to use my creative brain. Like I need to come up with ideas and execute them. And the fun part was seeing those ideas work. So that's how I now started gravitating towards the world of social media and digital marketing. And then one year,
I'm gonna pause you here for just a second, Anne, because again, I
mhm,
think you're naming something that is often common when people.
yeah,
So we're talking about this pathway that many of us have traveled.
mhm,
We go off, we do the higher education thing, we get a college degree, we've spent
mhm,
money, or people around us, our family have spent money. My own
mhm,
daughters have had this conversation with my husband and I, saying, you know, well, I feel obligated now. You made this big investment in me to
yeah,
show you, to prove, right? So you go out and you find a safe job with a good income, something
mhm,
that you're very capable. You're providing um, the best of your ability, and are highly successful, but it just
yes,
doesn't fill your cup all the way. It's just not
yes,
really the thing that lights you up. And like so many people, what you were naming that I see, because I do a fair amount of coaching with people, and I hear this all the time, is it's not feeding my need for creativity. And
mhm,
so there's this, so many of us have this part of ourselves where
mhm,
we need to not be en route. We need to
yeah,
have this freedom to create and to generate. And like so
mhm,
many in your age group, because of your coming of age at a time when social media and YouTube videoing and all of this stuff are taking off, you just sort of jumped
yes,
in. It was sort of your fun thing, and then you decided that it's something you loved, and you sort of turned it into this side hustle, and
yes,
you were helping other people. But I think this is a very common path that many
mhm,
people are on. So the story that you were telling yourself at the time when you were just helping your friends, at the time when
mhm,
you were traveling and you were vlogging and you were just having fun with it, what was the story in your head at that point in time about your relationship to those things and your relationship to your corporate identity?
so my corporate identity didn't give me freedom. And through the vlogging and the traveling and being in the social media space, I had learned that I actually don't have to have a 9 to 5 for me to earn a living. And at the
Mm.
same time, I want freedom. But at the same time, it was just a foreign concept. It might have picked up a bit faster in the US, but here in Kenya, it was just like a foreign concept. Very little people were doing it. And even my own family didn't understand what I was doing. But I had the vision in my head. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep going because my goal from this point is to be able to earn money online where I'm not tied down to the office, where I'm not looking at spreadsheets. If I'm looking at spreadsheets, let them be for from my own thing, my business. That's the kind of spreadsheets I want to look at. And the idea of working remotely, actually, that's where it was born. Because I'm like, I see the freedom, but I don't know how to get there. There's some fear. Yeah, it was honestly a crazy time. I still want to do what is expected of me, have a job, get a decent income, live life, but that did not fill my cup at all. Yeah, so now what happened after that, I just kept pushing the YouTube thing. Unfortunately or fortunately, it didn't work out as I had planned. Now COVID hit. I still have I have my knowledge on social media. The family business I was in closed down. And now I had like to pivot again. But now this time I was like, you know what? I know now like I seriously need to get an income, but I'm not going back to accounting. I'm going to start um managing people's social media. So what I did is I enrolled for a digital course from the London School of Business, which was a 3 month course, and it honestly gave me like the best exposure and knowledge that I needed to, you know, move on with this career that I have chosen. It was also strange, and also at the time it was super expensive, but I'm so grateful to my parents for being able to support that dream because I told my dad, I was like, so at some point there, I just had to move back home because life was hard. I'm not earning any money from whatever it is that I'm trying to do, YouTube. I'm not getting consistent clients to create content for them. I'm not yet even monetized and I'm far away from that. So I was like, so my dad actually supported me and then I did the digital marketing course. Now that was super eye-opening for me. And I think from then that's when I was like, you know what? The path that I am choosing is not for everyone and it's hard right now, but I'm gonna stick to it. So that was back in 2021. And this lifestyle thing, um, like the freedom, being able to work from anywhere, it was like very important to me that I literally did anything just to make sure that um, in like the next 5 years, I'll not be complaining about the same thing. And I'm just happy to say, I'm
Well,
just
for a lot
happy
of
and
young
glad.
people, the giving up, you go and you pick this apartment, you decorate
Mhm,
it, you make this
mhm,
space, and it
mhm.
is a milestone. It is a
Yes.
life milestone when you build your home, your residence outside of your family's home.
Mhm,
And so it can bring up some interesting internal negativity, some
Ye-
garbage stories in your head when you
mhm.
decide to walk away from that and go back home again. Did you struggle with that at all, Anne?
Initially, it was easy because I just told myself I'm going to move there for like 3 months, maximum four, where I don't have to think about rent. And then after that, I will bounce back. That's how much I believe or I bet in myself. But that was not the case. So now, after the 4 months period that I'd given myself, it became very difficult. And I regretted that decision for the next year and a half. But while at it, I just stayed positive. But the story and the negative things that will come were like you're being left behind, you're stuck, your friends are moving forward, everything else is working out for everyone else but me. So at that point, and I would say this is when I kind of hit rock bottom in my journey. Everything was just so hard, and I just couldn't understand why I even chose this path where I'm trying to transition to, a different career where I have nobody to guide me apart from do some research. And it's easier when you've seen someone else, do that transition, but I had never seen that. So even like when I was just like I was being asked, so what do you do? I hated that question for a long time because at some point I didn't know what I did because it was just like so messed up. I don't know whether to go back to accounting because that was the easiest and the safest thing to do. Go get a job and get stuck in that office for the next 5 years, while at the same time pay my bills, live life, and just be content with everything. But I refused. I was like, no. Let me go through this because in the next 5 years, I don't want to be stuck in Nairobi. I want to be able to live anywhere in the world and work remotely. That was the goal. I feel like that really pushed me, and this brings me to something I just want to say. Anytime you're trying to look or to choose a career that you want to be in, you need to look at the lifestyle you want or the kind of life you want for the next 5 or 10 years? Is whatever it is that I'm doing now, am I going to be happy with the decision in the next 5 years? So I think that's what pushed me. And when I got now to a place where I could relocate from Nairobi and come to a coastal town and just live, like remotely, I was just like, you know what? I'm just so proud of myself that I did bet on myself and I made those decisions when I did, even though it was hard. Yeah.
So let's break this down. I don't want to miss these very important things. You've talking about dropping gems today, and you've dropped a couple here, because
Yeah.
I do work a lot. I do consulting with entrepreneurs and startups, and one of the
Mhm.
biggest challenges so many entrepreneurs face. And at the beginning of this season, we had a client of mine, Allison, on the, and she talked about her journey with Threads and Honey, this
Mhm.
one of the top 2% shops on Etsy for,
Mhm.
for private sold items, and yet still
Mhm.
struggling, feeling like, struggling to run a business. But
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, so many entrepreneurs, they don't give themselves a long enough runway. And I love
Mhm.
that one of the first real tips here that you are giving to people is you've got to think much further out than just in the next 3 months, in the next
Mhm.
6 months, in the first year. It often takes a
Mhm.
lot more time than that for you to really stabilize. And
Mhm.
the so many, that's why so many businesses close within the first 2 years, is because
Yes.
people are not mentally and financially prepared
Mhm.
for that amount of time to be required for them to really start to see profitability. So I think
Yeah.
that is gem number one is, you've really got to think a much longer runway. The second thing that you just said
Yes.
that I absolutely love is you've got to have a reason that is bigger than just making money. You have
Yeah.
this vision for this life that you want to live. And
Mhm.
this is the possibility. This is what gives you the capability, the capacity to live that
Mhm.
life. But the goal is the life. The goal is not to be a successful social media or podcast promoter. That's not the goal. The
Yes.
goal is about living the life that you want. And I think that is so much more compelling and gives so much more tenacity
Mhm.
to
Yes.
endure during the rough times, because the rough times will come.
Yes. The rough times will come, and I mean, if you have the clarity on that, and just be like, if this is what I have to do for me to live freely in the next 5 years, do it. When you get to the 5 year mark and your goals have changed, like make a decision career wise, because at the same time, we just have to work because that's just how it is. Just get something that's fulfilling, something that you do enjoy doing, something that's even when it's rough, when it's tough, you're just going to keep showing up.
And when you bet on you from the place of what's important to you, you drown out all of that external noise. You stop looking outside of yourself and saying, when my business is as big as that one, when I have,
Mhm.
really well-known clients like this person, right? So the external
Mhm.
noise and the comparator,
Mhm.
that diminishes, right? So that
Yes.
you can stand firm in building what matters to you.
Yes. I mean, it's all about you. You just have to look inward. And so last year, January, that was 2025 January, that's when I left my last corporate job, hopefully. And that's when we actually met after that. Well, I'm on this journey. And I would say that one of the things that have really kept me going is also looking inward, like when you're on the entrepreneur journey, or when you're doing the career switch, you just have to be honest with yourself. You have to be really, really, really honest with yourself, and be ready to deal with anything that comes up, because emotionally it's draining,
Mm.
and mentally it's exhausting. Some days you just don't want to wake up, you just want to, you know you just want out sometimes and do it the easy way. But now, comparing myself then and now, I feel like I've also fought a lot of fear, like within, because I remember when I was now leaving that corporate job, I was just like, you know what, I just have to do it. I don't have, like, time is moving, yes, but is this how I want to live my life? Do I want to keep commuting? Do I want to keep showing up to a place that is draining me? Um, Next year, a time like now, do I want to be having the same problems? So you just have, like, to bet on yourself. Like, I really did bet on myself, and that was like the best. This has been like the most fulfilling, and honestly, like, that's just been the most fulfilling journey I've been on. And for anyone who is like wondering, or thinking like, is this the right time? I think you should just like listen to that small voice in your head, and just be like, okay, Sarah, okay, like, all right, let's do it, and just go, just do it. I just kept telling myself that, like, just do
I think,
it.
yeah, I think you're right about that question of, is this the time? Sharon, thanks again for being with us. And it's amazing what we discover when we focus on what matters to us and move away from comparing ourselves to others. And I think
Mhm,
this is so critical when you are asking yourselves, is it the right time? The question
mhm,
you should really be asking yourself is, am I ready to
mhm,
be the next version of me? Because if you're still trying to hold on to whatever your measures of success were prior to this leap you're about to make,
mhm,
you will keep feeling that strong pull to go back. I mean, I will say, as an entrepreneur, I think we all fantasize at times about, wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have to go sell the next thing, build the next thing, right? That if I could just
mhm.
have somebody tell me what to do for a day.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing to do. I mean, like, just make my life easier. And then you just tell yourself, I follow instructions nicely. Like, it has just been, like, being an entrepreneur is one of the most fulfilling and draining things to do, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been at it since 2008, and I feel it. And I go through my cycles where I fantasize. But then I have
Mhm,
the reality of, like, then I make myself really step into the, what is a day in the life of, if I go back to working for somebody else, and I'm like, that's not what I want. And it would mean things like giving up the show, things that I love to do. Thank
mhm,
you for being with us, Sharon. Thank you for your kind words. Well, it is that time. It is about time to wrap up this episode. Any
mhm,
final words of wisdom and you want to share about
mhm.
betting on yourself and throwing out plan B and just going for your plan A in your life?
So I think one thing that I've learned is that your first career doesn't have to be your forever career. Like, sometimes we just put so much pressure on ourselves to have everything figured it out, especially in your 20s. But life really isn't linear, and it's okay to evolve. You need to embrace that growth, and also embrace where the direction that life, is taking you to. It's okay to discover new interests. It's okay to rewrite the story that you have told yourself, or the story that goes on in whatever you come from, your background. sometimes it just doesn't matter. Your education just doesn't matter. And yeah, because there's no limit to wherever you're going next. And every experience should be like the part of the foundation to the life that you're building. And I think my last words will be like, just be in a career that is fulfilling to you. And whenever it is that you're trying to make a transition, just think about where you want to be like in the next 5 years, the kind of life, the lifestyle, and just go with it.
I'm going to leave our listeners with some very wise words from one of my favorite authors and consultants and leaders in business, Peter Block. And Peter Block says, when you choose safety and security, you give up your power. And plan B is your safety and security, right? So when you're holding on, when you're giving over your safety and security, wanting that safety net, you're giving up some level of your agency, of your commitment, of your willingness to bet fully on you. And nobody's going to bet on you better than you if you really do the things that Anna's talked about and that Sharon just talked about really being true to who you are and what matters to you. When you are standing in that truth and you are operating from that truth, good things will come for you. And I am so excited to continue to watch your journey. I'm so happy that the universe brought us together through the Story I'm Telling Myself podcast. And thank you for coming today and sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for having me. And I just look forward to more episodes. And I just want to put it out here. Working with you was like one of the greatest moments in my career. And also listening to the stories of the very impactful guests that you do bring on here, it has actually made me be able to tell my story. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. All right, friends, come back again next week. We look forward to having you back again for another episode. And until then, make sure that you go over to your favorite platform. You'll find all the links and details in the show notes, and share this episode with a friend, because I know you know somebody that's going to want to hear this conversation. Until then, bye everyone. Have a great week.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you love this episode, leave us those 5 stars and be sure to share this with a friend. And if you didn't, don't worry about it. See you back here next week.